You're live and recording.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Today is April 26th, Monday, April 26th. And we are here with our special board meeting executive session. And I would like to let everybody know that we're coming live at you from Lewis and Clark, our elementary school, one of our elementary schools in the public school district. So at this time, I would like to call this meeting to order. And Madam Clerk, could you please do the roll call?
Trustee Andrew Butler,
Here.
Trustee Manuel Godina,
Here.
Vice Chairman Travis Manning,
Here.
Madam Chair Maricela Pacino.
Here. And now if everybody would please stand up and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Okay, so yeah, just for all of those that are watching us through our feed, just wanted to let you know that earlier today, we had a quorum of the board. We were here at Lewis and Clark and had a small tour of the building, our elementary school, Lewis and Clark, and we'd like to thank Dr. McDaniels over there for the tour that we got. We have a beautiful school that was built in 2004, and we are excited to be here and learn more about some of the programs here at Lewis and Clark. So thank you, Dr. McDaniel. And then at this time, Madam Clerk, if you could please let us know about the board meeting agenda postings.
Madam Chair, Pacino and trustees, I request the approval of the Board of Trustees special board meeting and executive session agenda posting for Monday, April 26, 2021. The original agenda was posted on Friday, April 23rd, 2021 at 3:29 p.m. The agenda was posted on the school district website and at the Caldwell District Office.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask for a motion to approve and accept the agenda postings.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve and accept the agenda postings for April 26, 2021.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Trustees, do you have any questions for discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to ask for a motion or for a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries. All right, and so our special board meeting agenda. So at this time, the first thing that we're gonna discuss is the Lewis and Clark Advanced Learning Program, also known as ALP. And we have Dr. Matthew McDaniel and China Hirosaki.
Madam Chair, trustees, Dr. French, thank you for joining us at Lewis and Clark Elementary School this evening. I'm so happy to have been able to guide you on a tour of our school. Some time back, I reached out to Dr. French and asked her if there was a way that we could work to promote the advanced learning program at Lewis and Clark Elementary School. This is not a Lewis and Clark program. This is a Caldwell School District program that's housed at Lewis and Clark Elementary School. So we actually have students from almost every single elementary school in our district who come via shuttle bus to Lewis and Clark every single day, where they're able to participate in a program that's essentially a gifted and talented program. We call it the Advanced Learning Program. It's a program that allows students to incorporate advanced learning concepts into their day while still being able to integrate their time at school with general education peers. And so there's a couple things we hope to accomplish this evening. One is the first thing we'd like to share with you is Advanced Learning Program promotional video that we've put together that we hope to be able to share with patrons of the Caldwell School District. We wanted to premiere it with you all tonight. So you're some of the very first people, besides those who made the video, to see this. And then with your permission, we'd like to share it district-wide to all of our patrons so that our parents can know more about this program. And then after the video, I'd like to invite our Advanced Learning Program teachers, our coordinator, Gina Cheney, who teaches math and STEM, and our ELA teacher, Becky Boyd, to kind of take the podium and share a little bit about what they do and allow you to ask them some questions about the program. So right now, I'd like to premiere this video. It's about 7 minutes long that just talks about our advanced learning program.
Besides higher level math and ELA, these students get enrichment in science. Hello, I'm Gina Cheney, the coordinator of the Accelerated Learning Program, or ALP, for the Caldwell School District. This is a program offering high ability learners in our schools in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade the opportunity to work in advanced curriculum and at an accelerated pace with direct instruction. Caldwell Schools has a desire for all students to be challenged in learning. These advanced learners work in core curriculum at least one level above their grade. Besides higher level math and ELA, these students get enrichment in science, advanced writing, instruction, project-based learning, and service learning, where they work with younger students to help them meet their goals.
Hi, I'm Becky Boyd, and the students that are enrolled in our program are also assigned to a grade level classroom to attend specials and go to lunch recess. This provides an opportunity for them to engage with their grade level peers, which we believe is just as valuable as the individualized learning that they're going to get with the ALP program. When students have completed through the end of the 5th grade, they have completed the 6th grade standards using the same curriculum that the middle schools are using for 6th grade. Recommended at this time to go into the 7th grade math and the ELA classes, either at an advanced level or at just the 7th grade level, depending on what their progress merits. Here are some of the past and present students talking about their experience in the ALP program.
So Cedric, how did being an ALP help you to advance your education?
But once I got into the ALP program, everything was challenging more, and I felt like I earned more from my education.
What difference did it make being placed with your academic peers for you?
It helped me to ask a lot more questions to them. And so once I moved up, I had to ask questions to figure stuff out more, and that's really helped me because now I've gained more confidence in just being able to ask questions to like anybody.
Can you tell me what your coursework is right now?
Right now I have 4 AP classes and jazz band at the high school. I have chemistry, calculus, AP US history, and English. They're all pretty fun, and there's lots of homework.
Ella, how did being an ALP make a difference for you?
It made a difference for me because it gave me more opportunities. For example, in 5th grade for STEM, we get to experiment with robots, and that sounds really fun, so I'm really excited.
How did it make a difference for you being placed with your academic peers?
Well, it definitely pushed me I made more of an effort because in 3rd grade we were placed with 4th graders for writing and STEM. So I thought that, oh, I'm gonna have to do this when I'm in 4th grade. So I made more of an effort so I would know what I needed to do next year, and they definitely set a good example for that.
So Talia, what difference did it make for you being in a class with your academic peers?
When I finally came here and they had us write these adjectives,
and almost everybody in our class wrote the word weird, and that's when I realized that I was with people who were exactly like me. We were weird and we were smart, and we knew what we were talking about when we talked to each other, and we understood each other.
Is there a project or something from the time you were in ALP that has helped you?
Like, we had a science notebook and a math notebook, and we had an English notebook and like a history notebook, and that turned out to be really helpful, especially when I entered 6th grade, because now whenever I need information, like, I can think about it and I'm like, I know I heard this somewhere. It's probably back in like 5th grade. So I go and I grab my 5th grade notebook and I'd open it and there's all the information right there. Just made things a lot easier.
So Rylan, how has ALP been different from other school experiences that you've had?
ALP was a lot more challenging, and if I weren't in these classes, I don't think I would have gone as much as a student. My writing's gotten better, and I'm able to do math better than I was before. I know a lot more than I think I probably would in a different class.
Caldwell School District patrons, my name is Dr. Matt McDaniel. I'm the principal of Lewis and Clark Elementary School. We're so lucky to host the Advanced Learning Program here at our school. If you've enjoyed what you've learned about in this short video and you're interested in knowing more about how your child might qualify for the Advanced Learning Program, I encourage you to reach out to your child's homeroom teacher or their principal at their home school. You can also reach out to me here at Lewis and Clark Elementary School, or Miss Gina Cheney, the director of the Advanced Learning Program for the Caldwell School District. If parents are wondering what my child needs to do to qualify, most of the qualification is based on academic scores on benchmark assessments. So it'd be a good conversation for you to have with your child's homeroom teacher about how they've performed on their ISAT tests, or perhaps their iStation and iReady scores, or even their MAP scores. These are great questions for you to ask your teachers, where you can find out how your child is performing, and then you can touch base with us or with Ms. Cheney, the director, to find out what those benchmark qualifications are, or what next steps might be for your child to qualify for the Advanced Learning Program. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you've enjoyed this great information about the ALP program in the Caldwell School District.
Welcome back to my channel, Top Ed's Perspective. Do you want to come to Australia? Who want to come?
I don't know her. The volume was a little quiet. The link is posted in your board docs, though. If you didn't hear all of it there, you can go back and view it. Just kudos to Anita Day, our librarian, who helped us do the video editing on that video, and to Gina Cheney and Becky Boyd for doing all the filming and finding students who are the students that you saw there. Those are Caldwell School District students at the high school, the middle school, and current ALP participants. So I'd like to ask Ms. Cheney and Ms. Boyd to join me over here at the podium. They have some handouts for you that they left on your tables, and they might want to share a little bit about that. And then feel free to grill them about the program. I'll let you guys take the forefront here.
So the program, when I first started in it, which was the second year that we had it, was a self-contained program. We had groups here at Lewis and Clark and at Wilson, and it's changed over the years. And since moving here to Lewis and Clark, we've implemented some changes that I think have made a difference. Back in 2016, 2017, I had a committee of parents, teachers, administrators, to be able to evaluate what the program was like, what was good about it, what did they feel like needed to change. One of those things was for the program to not just be self-contained, for them to have more time with their grade level and age peers. And so it's great that we've been able to accomplish that. They have a homeroom. If you look at this page right here, you can see what the schedule looks like for a typical 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade student. Down at the bottom, you will see this is what each of the students have. They have their schedule, they have their specials, so they know what to be prepared for the day, who their homeroom teacher is, and who they work with in mentoring. In our kindergarten, we have some of them that actually help them run their stations.
Sorry. Just a minute. There was something in my bag that I did not know was there. Thank you. Thank you.
Your husband playing a trick on you?
I think maybe so. Gina, I apologize.
They'll be entertaining anyway. I also gave you a pamphlet which talks about the kinds of things that what our philosophy is, what we do in the program. There's a part here that talks about how to qualify for the program. We use our benchmark testing for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. That would be the MAP test 3 times a year. And for the 2nd graders who can qualify for 3rd grade the next year, we use iStation and iReady. And sometimes in looking at students' scores, if they're close, then we can talk with the teacher and talk about, is this a good fit for that particular student if their scores are close? And they have to, once we get to the end, they have to score at least in the 80th percentile on the IQ portion of the test. And so students are bused here every day from their home schools. They ride their bus there to their home school. They walk there however they would normally get there. They are shuttled here and then shuttled back in time to catch the bus or get home how they normally would. And then I do the math and the STEM, and I do lots of hands-on. I think that that's important. I don't see how people can do science without that. It was very much, I felt hamstrung when we were in remote, trying to be able to get students activities where they would be able to have the materials to be able to do it. And so it ended up not being as hands-on. And so I'm glad that they're here to be able to do a lot of that now. So the focus right now is more on a lot of hands-on type things. Becky also does our ELA, and she's going to talk to you about the other that you have.
One very unique perspective that I get is I do get them for several years in a row when a student comes in as a 3rd grader and then gets to stay until a 5th grader. So I did give a writing sample of a student that I did get an opportunity to have for 3 years. And I tried to highlight what would be some things that we would want to see growing as a student is in the class for 3 years. And you'll notice that the standards that I put on there are a grade up because as Ms. Cheney and I are evaluating students, we are looking at a grade level above because by the time they are done with 5th grade, we are evaluating them on the grade level above standards. So you'll notice some things that are highlighted in there, the vivid descriptions, the vocabulary, adding dialogue. And you should see as you're going through each year, some of those things are being added more and more. And by the time the student's a 5th grader, in that narrative writing, the academic language, the vocabulary that they're using, those character descriptions that they are included in there or including in there, and then the use of dialogue. They're just doing that very well. So it's just kind of fun to see that growth over 3 years, and having the opportunity to get to see that is very, I think, special as a teacher. So and it's kind of fun to get to see that growth. So.
We're able to do a lot of differentiating with the math. Currently, we have lower numbers due to COVID and the things that have happened throughout with that. Right now, I have 4 students in my 3rd grade math group, and I have one that by the time he leaves, he's going to be at least well into 7th, maybe 8th grade standards. And I have others of the other 3 who are at different places also and need different things. And so makes it possible to do some differentiating there so that their needs are met and they're able to get to what it is that they're able to do. Did you have any questions about?
Trustees, any comments or questions?
Madam Chair, I got a question. How long has the ALP program been in this school?
First of all, it was in both Lewis and Clark and Wilson. We had separate 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade self-contained classes in each. The feeder schools for Syringa would come here, and the feeder schools for Jefferson
went to Wilson. And that was in 2006, 2007 was the first year. They had it, actually that first year, that was before I started. They started with second and third, and then a fourth and fifth. It made it very difficult to be able to do the differentiation that was needed, and with the numbers, and at that time, they had to do open court. They had to do all of open court for second grade, all of open court for third grade. And so it was hard to be able to manage that. So they changed it the next year when I started with a third, a fourth, and a fifth. We've changed the standards for qualifying. And so that's kind of limited the numbers down a bit more. Normally in a normal year, we have about 50 students. They start with a lower number in third grade, and then we build in fourth and fifth. We generally end up with at least 20 students at that point. So in 2014, when we made that change, then I went over to Wilson. There were 2 fifth grade classes at that point, and we had a third and a fourth grade teacher as well. And it was there for 3 years, and then it's been back here now for 4 years.
Thank you, Ms. Cheney.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments about the ALP program?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I've got a couple of questions. Ms. Cheney, can you clarify on when the students can come in? Can they only come in at third grade, or can they come in at any point, third, fourth, or fifth grade?
They can come in at any point, third, fourth, or fifth. Second grade, as I mentioned, is the first time to qualify, but they qualify for the next year as a third grader. Then at each benchmark time during each year, we are testing them to be able to qualify. We usually have during the last benchmark, then at the very beginning of the summer, we started offering a testing time then so that people can have them tested and know before the next school year if they've qualified or not.
And then I'm kind of curious about the students when they're coming in, and kind of that idea is that you're teaching kind of at the next grade level. So they're almost skipping a year, and what kind of transition the students kind of go through in that, trying to not even catch up, but kind of that idea of trying to catch up and figure out where they're at.
Well, it's definitely a challenge at first. In teaching math, I have them skipping from second grade math into fourth grade math. But we're not necessarily skipping all of that material. In order to scaffold for them for the fourth grade material, I want to make sure I'm not leaving any holes with third grade material. So sometimes I have to build a little bit with that before we go on to what's the fourth grade standard. And so it can be a challenge getting used to the program at the beginning. But as I usually tell parents, when they are at that crisis of, okay, things have always been easy. I've been able to take a little time to read, take a little time to do something else. Now they're hitting the ground running and they're going. And so it is a bit of a transition at first, but we can be beside them and helping them with that transition. They learn how to study, how to do some things that they previously haven't been able to, the skills, because everything was so easy for them. Although I don't want to say that other teachers don't differentiate. I don't want to say that. I'm not saying that, but they do. But like I said, we can come alongside them, and it's better that they reach those crisis moments here when we can come alongside them than in high school or college when it's a much bigger consequence. So.
Excellent, thank you, and thank you for all the work that you do. It's been a big process. As you mentioned, the number of years of trying to refocus this, and just thank both you and Ms. Boyd for all of your work and dedication to the program.
Thank you, Trustee Butler.
There was a comment that I wanted to say. Back in the day when I was in elementary, which was a long time ago, we had people would come to us and because I was, like I mentioned before, I was a migrant student, and I'd go to South Texas and take some classes in South Texas. And sometimes our curriculum here was a little bit more advanced in South Texas because of, the dual language and just a lot of the migrant kids trying to catch up. And I remember you know, I wish there would have been a program like this, because I remember teachers coming and asking me, not even my parents, but asking me, how would you feel like advancing to the next grade? And, you know, my friends were in that grade, and, you know, and for that reason, I would say, no, I'll just be quiet, and I won't, you know, I won't show how much I know. You know, and I like this program because, you know, when the kids have the social interaction, you know, they could talk to kids that, you know, that they've got the same mindset in a sense, or their thought processes might maybe, you know, the same. And so I like the fact that they can do that and be with kids their own age, and be with, that they don't have to be separated. And you're gonna be, oh, okay, there's that, you know, 10-year-old in college, you know, which there's sometimes there are, you know. But I'm just glad that there is this program, and that, you know, the kids can be around other kids their own age. And I feel that helps them be more comfortable with the environment, and it helps them want to learn more and maybe speak out more, and not be so timid because they're, you know, labeled however they may be labeled. But yeah, so thank you.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. And we have several students that are second language learners who qualify every year. And so we have, you know, a broad range of kids, and so that makes it interesting as well.
Mhm. Thank you. And I don't know about the rest of you board, but, you know, would you like to speak regarding, you know, presenting this, being able, or to give Dr. McDaniel the opportunity to share the video with the rest of our community?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, we would like for that to happen. And thank you for working on that video. I think it's interesting, and it's great that the kids participated, because it, you know, I know that there's a lot of parents out there that would say, okay, that's be my kid. So.
Cedric was at the point where it was self-contained, so he's up there at the higher end. And then Talia and Ella and Rylan are now that it's changed. So Talia was the middle school student, but it had changed with her group. So.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
you. We appreciate the presentation. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, I believe that the video has been, was Allison.
It's already on. If you look at the parent page, they actually have it posted there. I apologize that we couldn't get the volume up here to be able to hear some of that, because the kids have some really great things to say.
Watch it at a later time.
Yeah, we will for sure. I want to get on that link and watch it again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it. Okay. So the next item on our agenda is the magnet school discussion. Trustees, if you remember last year, if you can remember before COVID, before the pandemic, we had Dr. McDaniel do a presentation on the magnet school. And so we've asked for him to update us a little bit. You know, we do want to take a look at this. And so Dr. McDaniel, take it away.
Thank you, Madam Chair, trustees, Dr. French. I appreciate you taking the time to consider this concept again. You're right, Madam Chair. It was about a year ago where I came to the board and had the opportunity to share with you a brief presentation about just the concept of a magnet school, what it is, and how our school district might be able to benefit from it. Basically, the foundation here is that we've seen one Caldwell School District lose students to other local charter schools, schools of choice. Two, the demographic study that was done a little over a year ago in the Caldwell School District showed minimal growth moving forward, which kind of presents us with a problem in how do we retain students in the Caldwell School District. Some of my research interests and my research history surrounds schools of choice and leadership in schools of choice, what their impact is, why they exist, how they work, and regardless of our maybe personal opinions on whether we see them as a valid opportunity in education or not, they exist. They're part of our educational landscape. And here in the Caldwell School District boundaries, we have how many? 5 or 6 at least. Yeah, within our zone at least. So we know that's Caldwell School District students who are being drawn away from Caldwell School District into schools of choice. So my thought behind proposing conceptualizing a magnet school is, one, to draw students back, but also to have students choose Caldwell. right? That's really what we want, is students to choose the Caldwell School District. And when there's a lot of opportunities out there, our best way to do that, our best way to combat that, is to kind of live in the same spaces that those schools do, or to be innovative in our own right, or find something else that we feel like really caters to our students, our student populations, and our patrons, to make them say, that's the place that I want to be. We know that our general education opportunities appeal to many people, and appeal to people who choose them, right? But also, if our intent is to kind of bring students back, then we have to live in those same zones. We know some of the local charter schools, for example, live in the dual language immersion space, in the STEM space, in the CTE space. And those are schools that are within a stone's throw or even a paper airplane's throw of some of our schools. And so I just want to bring this back to the board. In your board docs, there's a presentation I shared with you a year ago. I don't need to go through that again with you all, unless you feel like you'd like me to hit some highlights in there. But with Madam Chair, Dr. French, we just thought this might be a good time to bring the conversation back up and see if this is right to at least investigate for the Caldwell School District and see if there's an opportunity we can take advantage of. We know there are a number of hurdles that come with kind of creating a new program, right? And Caldwell School District has experienced this in the past year, opening an online academy. That's an option. It's kind of a magnet, kind of conceptualization and option. And we've seen some of the hurdles, but we've also seen some great successes, and we've been able to retain Caldwell School District students because that option has been provided. So as we continue to think about what other opportunities might be out there, it's a good time to consider how Caldwell School District can continue to be relevant in the landscape that is changing. And with a lot of growth around us, it'd be great to see students even from surrounding districts choose Caldwell because of an option that we have for them, as opposed to choosing an alternative. So I'd be happy to stand for questions if you have any, or to facilitate discussion among board members.
I'm jumping in the middle. So I do want to let you know, so Jody and I went to visit Reed Elementary in Kena probably 2 months ago. They have a dual immersion program and have for some time. Last year was their first year of graduating students who had gone through the dual immersion K senior. So they have built it up. So now it's 13 years of dual immersion Spanish. And we did spend most of our time at Reed Elementary. And Wendy Johnson is welcome. She's checking now to see if May 6th, if the teachers to check with the principal and teachers so that you can take a tour if you would like of the K5, K6 program that they have there. And then it does move into the middle school, but it has taken them some time to get to that point. And they've had to start somewhere. And you have to know this is a long-term type of a building out. The one thing I also want to let you know is we've been visiting with Shannon Cummins about our EL program, because we've talked about how could we even take that EL program for those students that are learning English, but look at it in a dual language type of situation, format, to where kids could lottery in to be with their EL peers, learning Spanish, and then as they transition, because as it goes, at Reed Elementary, so at the first it's 80%, it's like an 80-20, 90-10 and 80-20, and then as like the upper grades, it starts to be more like 60-40 Spanish, 60% the class time is spent in Spanish, and then 40. But we've had that conversation. It's something we could look at, because I think, as you know, we can't build a school just for it. We somehow have to bring it together. And we do have bilingual teachers teaching in the district right now, but they're mostly focused with EL and so there's some conversations, and I'm glad to have, I think that this could be a great opportunity if you're ready for the long, the commitment that it's going to take some time to get it built up. So anyway, I just want to share that with you. Any comments?
Yeah, I think it's worth the conversation, and I think it's worth looking at options and investigating possibilities. And maybe it's a couple of different sort of school within school concepts, or maybe it's an entire magnet, entire school. Maybe that's a heavy lift, especially with our growth being sort of neutral. I know it's easier, if you're a growing district, to add a school you know, look, I think, you know, it's what, 18 months minimum to, you're gonna transition to a school like that, so. You know, let's say we were interested, let's say we did want to pursue it. We're still probably 2.5 years out. From something like that. It takes a lot of time and preparation and conversation, and I think we should begin that conversation. And maybe it's forming a committee of some kind, starts meeting this summer or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I think we could probably find a principal who would help in that committee.
And Madam Chair, trustees, you know, a dual language immersion is an option. There's a plethora of magnet concepts out there. I mean, I think we'd all agree that that model would fit Caldwell School District really nicely. I think, you know, we need something that's sustainable. That's one of the hardest things about a magnet school is sustainability, not only with students, but with staffing as well. There may be, you know, a cohort of people who are really excited about it now, but we have to be visionary, I think, with this as well, and think, what does the long-term model look like in 20 years? Is this something that we feel like is part of who we are and part of who we should be? And if the answer is yes, then it's definitely worth pursuing. If the answer is no, then maybe the timing is not right as well. But you know, there's not an arts school west of Nampa specifically dedicated to arts focus. There are some kinesiologically focused magnet schools as well. They're really focused on developing young athletes early on in conjunction with their academic pursuits. We know that we have a local charter school that focuses on CTE. And so there could be CTE conceptualization and magnet ideas as well. Really, the sky's the limit. The whole purpose is just to really be hyper-focused. That means you're leaving some other elements out possibly in order to maintain greater focus on the magnet concept. So anyway, just things to think about.
Well, that would be a SWOT analysis, you know, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and I guess threats.
Yep.
But, you know, what do we do well now? And what population of students can we best serve? And look at that.
And maybe survey our community to see what their needs are, what they want.
And what they would support.
And what they would.
Yes. Good point.
And we're exploring the strategic plan right now as well, and this could, I think, very well play into that as we sort of reevaluate some of our goals and focuses. Okay, then you know, maybe that conversation that's already happening can inform this discussion of the magnet school potentially.
And in the strategic planning process, Trustee Manning, including an idea about innovation could be really helpful as the district grows, as trustees maybe change potentially over time too. Then we know that's part of the mission and vision of the school district, and it's sustainable again as well.
This is, I agree, Madam Chair, it's not a short term. This is a commitment.
And I guess considering that as well, knowing that we have limited growth, Trustee Manning mentioned, you know, kind of being creative in how you see a school within a school. That could mean, so we've seen in Nampa School District that they've actually split an elementary school in half. And one half of that school is a traditionally operating school and one half has a specific focus. Theirs happens to be a preschool, right? So they have all their preschools in one building in the Nampa School District. And so that's something to think about on that front too. But it could be that way with the magnet school. So when we're revisioning what things look like, a building like Lewis and Clark could continue to house half a population of general education students, and half of that building could be dedicated to magnet school students, possibly as well. There's alternate timeframes, right? So we kind of get locked into this 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. school schedule, but there could be flexibility in that schedule potentially as well, utilizing spaces differently. Our buildings sit empty a lot, right? They're more empty than they are used, every single school building in our district, especially considering summer times and things like that. So I think just being savvy on the idea of using our spaces well and using them frequently could help us find time and space too, without building new things.
Yes, thank you. Any more additional comments, trustees?
So how do we
Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say that, conceptually, I like the idea of magnet school. I think, I'm still stuck on what focus. Like I said, the language, that seems to make sense now, but is that a long term? So I think the idea of a magnet school, I'm for following through with that and developing that idea more, and just what that looks like, of what subjects or what path that leads.
Well, I'm
I'm
happy
still not sure
to
there
just,
yet.
we'll move forward. And first thing we'll do is set up a meeting for you to at least see a dual immersion program that runs well. I think that's important that, we cannot build a program around the principal's passion. Because if the principal should lose the passion or move to another school, then that program collapses because it has to be something that the district believes in, right? And it's a charge of like, and it will be at, this school will house our program and see, I think that's why it has worked well in CUNA, because it has been a district level program that administration supports that program because it's the board's focus. So, but I'd be happy to set that up for you to look at. And we can check with Napa. I'm not sure. They do have some focus schools. I don't know what they necessarily call them.
So New Horizons in Nampa is a dual language immersion school
Yeah.
at the elementary level. They're opening an expeditionary learning magnet school in Nampa. So Park Ridge Elementary is being transitioned into a school they're calling the Ridge now, which is actually expanding now to a K-8 model instead of a K-5 model. And that's, I think, starting next year. They're going K-8 minus 7th grade. I don't know the rationale behind that, to add 7th grade a year later. But Nampa schools, actually, all of their elementaries are revisioning into a focus school. So every single elementary has a specific focus. Some are STEM, some are arts, some are expeditionary learning, for example. I think with maybe a long-term goal of allowing all elementaries to be a school of choice and allowing parents to open enroll in any of the school of their choice. I don't know that. I don't have firsthand knowledge on that, but that seems to be the direction they
I
might be
think we
headed.
could talk to one of the board members. See what they're doing. Right. I bet she would share with us how they keep, the work behind that.
Thank you. I think that these are
Thank you.
exciting times and we've got to keep moving forward. We've got to be able to offer what was being offered out there.
Yeah.
And, if we want to retain our kids and keep our kids and to meet the needs of our community. So,
But I will follow up. I'll get back with you.
okay.
So if you're able to go and they can set up a time. Okay, we'll start there. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And next on our agenda is the Jamie Ballmer video. So are we ready for that? Caleb?
Madam Chair, who's?
Jamie Ballmer is an author. He was a presenter at the last trustee convention, Christy? Correct, at the last trustee convention. Yeah, he was one of our keynote speakers and he was a businessman. I think they made ice cream and
And he also wrote, Schools Can't Do It Alone.
Schools Can't Do It Alone, and yes, and he,
You know what? Can you let me send it to you?
and it is, it was a great, he's a great keynote speaker. I went to his class afterwards, the workshop afterwards, and he spoke, very much about the, in order for a school district to be, aggressive and to be successful, we all have to have the mindset, the teachers, the staff, the administration, all moving forward. And then my favorite example was that he spoke about kids. He gave us the blueberry example of, when he talked about, I'm a successful businessman, so guess what? I'm gonna teach you how to be a successful school district. And then he came to a speaking halt when an English teacher asked him a few questions. And it was great. It was really, really good. So I don't know if this is a video that we're gonna see, but we were lucky. Trustee Manning and I were really lucky to have been to have seen him speak in person. And what were your thoughts about Mr. Bowman?
I don't know that I have any specific thoughts.
Okay, well then, are we good? Do we have the video ready?
Is this the right one?
Okay, and if Chrissy could turn the lights behind you, my dear. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jamie Vollmer. For most of my professional life, I've worked to increase support for America's public schools, driven by my understanding that a vibrant, well-funded system of public education is essential for the health of our communities and our nation. Throughout this time, one of the most troubling statistics in my head is that approximately 70% of adult Americans, taxpayers and eligible voters, have no children in school. Many of these folks have developed a been there, done that attitude, epitomized by my neighbor, Bob. Bob is a nice guy, but raised the issue of supporting public schools, and he gets his back up and reels off a series of practice one-liners. I paid for my kids. I did my share. It's somebody else's turn. It's not my job anymore. Not surprisingly, when the district needs to ask the community for help, to pass a bond or a levy, or in some cases to approve a budget, Bob goes down to the voting booth, closes the curtain, and votes no. Actually, knowing Bob, he doesn't just vote no. He votes hell no, and feels pretty pleased with himself. First, let me make it clear that Bob's vote matters, as do the votes of all of us who no longer have kids in school. Researchers today have identified causal connections, not just correlations, between support for public schools and improving student outcomes. For example, economists have found that increases in per pupil spending are associated with increases in a child's educational attainment and improved high school graduation rates. Now, this is not a small thing when you consider that those who graduate from high school earn 26% more than those who don't. And that return on the community's investment rises as a graduate advances. People with associate degrees earn, on average, 60% more. Those with bachelor's degrees earn 93% more. And a person with more than a bachelor's degree earns 114% more than someone who does not finish school. So it's pretty clear that if nothing else, Bob's support benefits the kids in the community. And that's what the educators always tell us. Support your schools. It's the right thing to do for these kids. But what about Bob? Sure, it's nice for him to know that he did something to help the kids, but come on, they're not his kids, maybe not even his grandkids. What's in it for all the Bobs? It turns out plenty. The first thing worth noting is that the crime rate declines. Greater educational attainment improves decision-making, which helps individuals stay out of trouble and out of jail. This makes Bob safer, and a lower incarceration rate reduces the amount of tax dollars required to fund the criminal justice system. That's a real benefit. Helping to increase student success also improves the overall health of the community. Better educated people as a group have healthier diets. They make smarter lifestyle choices. Their jobs afford them greater access to private health insurance, and therefore, they have less need to rely on taxpayer-funded public assistance. It turns out that on average, people who fail to finish high school consume $800 more per year in public health resources than a graduate. Over time, this pattern leads to higher taxes and we all wind up paying more for our health insurance. Researchers at my beloved alma mater found that each additional graduate that Bob and his peers generates by virtue of their support saves the state, on average, $2,700 a year on a combined social assistant, healthcare, and criminal justice costs, while each additional dropout costs the public an additional $3,000+ each year. All these benefits directly impact Bob's pocketbook way beyond what the schools are asking for. But the benefits don't stop there. Bob is also the recipient of a host of proven soft benefits, so-called positive externalities, that flow from supporting your schools. For example, communities that support their public schools are ranked higher on almost every indicator of social and economic well-being. They have greater social cohesion, lower divorce rates and more stable families, higher levels of charitable giving, higher voter participation, higher property values, and greater involvement in religious and civic activities. In aggregate, these combined hard and soft benefits lead to one conclusion: our lives are better when we support our public schools. Now, I get it that people feel overtaxed. Some folks are upset that schools don't look like they used to, and they don't understand why. And there is a widespread antipathy towards all things associated with the government. But when Bob votes no, he's hurting himself. Every aspect of his quality of life is connected to and influenced by the quality of his local public schools. This is true even if you haven't had a kid in the system in decades. Supporting your public schools is the right thing to do for kids, and it's the smart thing to do for yourself. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again.
So there we go. The schools cannot do it alone. And so hopefully we have some Bobs out there that can watch this video. That'd be great. And I thought one of the interesting facts is that 70% of the voters that come out and vote do not have any kids in school. So that kind of tells you a little bit of, how, hopefully get our voters involved in our communities, our events, and let them see, what their tax dollars are going for, or going towards. So,
well, and Madam Chair and Trustees, I think we're seeing that also in the homes that are being built of people moving to Caldwell are older people with fewer children. I said, it's a great place to live. Yes.
And that's shown with the success of our communities due to better public education. So, okay. All right, well, thank you. And if anybody wants to see it, we're gonna have a link on the board docs of that video. Okay, got it, please, thank you. Okay, all right, so next on our list, on our agenda is our 2020 to 2021 school year calendar revision.
Madam Chair and Trustees, this school year ends on May 26th. That's the day of Caldwell High School graduation. Last day for students as well. That's a Wednesday. That is scheduled right now as a digital day. Well, they will not have devices. So it makes no sense for it to be a digital day. Their devices should be turned in before then. We would ask the board to allow us to make it at least a half day of school so that the high school folks, we can go until our, we expect to go until 12:30, 1 o'clock. High school individuals can get to graduation at 2:30. And there are some elementary teachers who have students who are graduating, but we would like it to be in person for at least a half a day. I shouldn't say for at least, we'd like it to be in person for half a day. And where we will have, communicate with parents that it is an in-person day, and it can be a day of celebration. Principals can use that time to finalize things, clean out that last locker, whatever that may be. Meet with their teachers before they go off for summer, but to have it be a digital day is, it's a no school day, and the last day of school is the 25th, honestly. Or allow us to bring it back that day for at least a half day.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. French regarding this last day of school?
So would that follow the normal, like, early release Wednesday schedule, or would it have to be?
It's a
not
bit,
quite
let
the
me pull that up. It's a bit different
Okay.
because in the past, the half day, so it's at least 4 hours. So elementary school starts about 8:50. And so we would calculate, that's 4 hours of instruction time. And then we'd go about 1 o'clock, right? And so same with in the high school, middle schools, they start around 7:50. And then we go at 4 hours. They would have breakfast and lunch. Lunch would probably be, it'd be a to-go lunch, I don't want to say sack lunch. And, but they would have a chance to at least come together one more time before we depart for the summer. Okay. But it is a different, that was the schedule that we looked up to see when we had half days. And that was about 2016. So in 2016, that was our half days schedule, at least 4 hours of instruction.
Madam Chair, Dr. French, what time is graduation that day?
2:30, you would need to be there at least by 2.
We're giving up the students enough time to get there.
The seniors will probably not be, they expect the seniors there probably an hour sooner. So I don't anticipate that they'll have seniors at Caldwell High
I
that
guess I'm
day.
talking
I'm sorry.
elementary. middle school.
Oh, okay. It should.
Yeah.
Because they'll be out by 1 o'clock, home by 1:30.
Okay.
I guess if parents were worried, they could come pick them up. Maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock. But
For those children who are siblings of a graduating senior. Okay.
it's possible, but parents may have to come and get them, or they may choose not to send them, but. I do know right now, Idaho Center, it's 8 tickets per student,
Okay.
or per graduate at this time.
And last year was 2,
It was
correct?
just parents.
So, okay, so it's a little bit more, so that's good.
Are they gonna stream graduation, do you know?
I would have to ask him, I don't.
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay, yes.
I'd like to make a motion to make the last day of school, May 26th in person only.
I have a motion. Is that enough on the motion?
How about a half day in person?
Half day in person.
Half day in person. I'd like to make a motion to make the last day of school a half day in person day.
Have a motion? Okay, I have a second. Okay, and any further discussion, trustees?
I guess I had a question.
Yes.
Well, is that part of, is it needed for the instructional time for the?
Yes, it is. Otherwise, we will have to resubmit instructional calendars to the state. That is why April is. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Good question.
That we're not just adding it just to have fun,
No.
but it. So much better. Okay, thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Here we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed, nay? All right, motion passes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And trustees. I will say, I don't believe it will probably be our best attendance date, but we will offer that day for instruction and as per our obligation for instructional.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, and the next item on the agenda is a personnel report. And at this time, are we good? Trustee Butler, are we good?
Yes.
Good to be here?
I
Okay,
believe so.
Okay.
I looked it over multiple times.
Okay, all right, sounds good. And so if, I don't know if any, well, let's ask for a motion to approve the personnel report at this time.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the personnel report.
Okay, I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Okay, any discussion at this time? Good, all right, thank you, and let's take a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right, motion carries unanimously.
And Madam Chair, can we introduce Melissa Langen?
Yes.
Would you?
Yes, okay, so, and tonight we have our newest, okay, I've got to look at the title, I think it's like Chief Academic Officer. Yes, Melissa Langen, so come on up. This is, you are the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Yes. Madam Chair, trustees, thank you. Thank you for having me here this evening. It's my pleasure. And I thought Dr. McDaniel did a phenomenal job, so I was glad to be a part of it. So thank you.
And I just wanted to say on my behalf, I'm very happy and excited that you were rose to the top and were selected as taking Miss Mills' place, and we are excited to see, you know, how you can help out with our administration, our school district, and excited to have you. So,
Thank you. I have to say, you know, 26 years ago, Jesus De Leon had I had the great honor of having him hire me to teach 5th grade at Van Buren. And, you know, on behalf of our family, the Langens, we just really love Caldwell. We love everything about it. And so it's just really my privilege to serve Caldwell and continue to be a part of who we are. So thank you. I appreciate it.
So Ms. Langen, you taught for how long, and then you've been principal for how long?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, Trustee Manning. I have been principal for the last 12 years. For 1 year prior to that, I was the instructional coach. And then prior to that, it was 3rd and 5th for a total of 26 years. And I covered the grade to show it, so 26 years.
Almost as old as I am.
Yes, so there you go. Thank you.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
We hope to work with you pretty closely in the near future.
Thank you. I look forward to it for sure. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, and so next we have our district continuing school operation plan for 2020 to 2021 school year.
Madam
So
Chair,
Dr.
yes, thank you, Madam Chair and trustees. So I've just updated you with the Southwest District Health information, and our incident rate in our school district is just trending down to where it's low, which is great. So I appreciate that. There were some requests to have middle school virtual concert, which they submitted some plans. They would like to conduct some virtual concerts, but they're asking you to go to Caldwell High School to film those concerts at the auditorium and then be able to broadcast. So that was a request. And then the 21st Century and 4-H Family Nights, which would include having patrons on campuses in the evening. I'm going to say, I'm noticing folks using facilities. Now, I don't know, soccer folks may just be using the facility. I have to check and see how that's being organized, but people are asking, you know, more and more to come in, and we just want to make sure that know that there is a protocol for the use of the buildings. So they do have a cleaning protocol. They do have a mask expectation. So every time you see something like that, we just want to make sure the board knows we have an entrance protocol. They are still following those protocols. It's just there are more opportunities to bring community together. And I just want to make sure that you are aware of those requests. Now, we're trying to catch them all. Some of them are, how did that happen? But we're doing our very best. And I will say they're still expecting masks. We're still expecting masks at sporting events, even outside, at least when they come to the gate and come to go to a softball, baseball game. They're expected to wear a mask. They are not necessarily wearing a mask once they're outside and they're distanced from others, so family groups that are distance. But if they're in a common area, congested area, we're asking for a mask. There is some, conversation about, are we going to ask people to wear masks outside or during summer school? But I think that might be a conversation the board might want to have for June, do we continue, we're expecting people to wear masks for the rest of the school year. But when June summer school starts, maybe, I don't know, that's a conversation we want to have, yes, okay. But maybe not tonight, but okay. That was it, that's all there is. I don't know if you have questions about this concert or the 4-H family night.
Chair, I do have a question. Sorry, this just hit me. I was looking at the calendar and these are all Wednesdays for the orchestra, band and choir for Sarah Middle School. So the
Yes, it
students
is.
that will be participating, will they have an excused absence?
Well,
for that
they're,
day,
it's
or-
a virtual day.
Right, but they still have to check in. They're supposed
They're
to have
supposed- yes.
FaceTimes that morning.
You know what, that is a good question. They will have to check in. We're gonna have to make sure that they have a school excused and they're able to do their homework.
Okay.
I think they chose, I'm gonna guess they chose Wednesday, so it's less impactful
Right.
on missing time in school, but I'll make sure that we follow up with. You still have to check in.
Yeah, because Seringa has been doing those FaceTime meets on Wednesday mornings with
Very
the
good.
short and
Okay.
condensed. I think they're like 12-minute classes.
Okay,
So,
I'll have Keely make sure that I make sure that we check on.
Okay. And I appreciate the planning that goes behind this and, the folks who are putting these protocols, letting us know what their plan is. And what steps they're taking to adhere to our school plan that we have for this year. So I appreciate that. And thank you for bringing it to the forefront and letting us know what's going on.
And
That's always good.
you're welcome. And if I find out more about athletics. Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, yeah, just let us know.
Yeah.
I should, sometimes the soccer happens, I don't know who they talk to.
Okay.
Right, so I see soccer players out at Wilson's Field using it, and I'm not, I just need to double check to see who is working with them.
I don't believe it's coming through. I don't believe it's coming through the district.
Yeah, it's, I haven't,
No one has requested a facilities use. Agreement, if you will. So it's.
Yeah, we'll have to-
If you could
we'll
monitor
investigate
that in
that.
your afternoon walks and weekend walks.
Yeah, well, well, see, we do have an agreement with, and I cannot, I don't know all this, I wanna say, okay, anyway, one of the
Yeah.
soccer groups,
Uh-huh.
that they help pay for fertilizer
Mhm.
as part of the, in like lieu of rent.
Mhm.
They help with the fertilizer of the soccer field, Caldwell High, and then that they are able to use fields. That's true, and so I have to just check with John
I
and
know.
Kathy and see.
I know in the past, and this is obviously pre-COVID, from the soccer standpoint, because I was a coach a couple
Okay.
times, and they were treated just as public fields. So
Oh.
nobody needed to get permission because it's an outdoor field, because it was public property, so that they didn't have to get permission. So, but that was all pre-COVID. That's been a few years now since I've been a part of that, so but that mentality may have just continued. I don't know. So, just,
Yeah.
That being said, is that, if somebody gets hurt from a different,
Yeah.
is there a liability to the school?
it would be on the
That's why we
soccer.
have to-
It'd be on the
It would be on the
It
soccer.
should be, but that's why
Because
we
they
like to
have
have that agreement,
Yeah,
so that we know that they're covered.
And I think we had some board meetings previously, I don't know if you remember, Vice Chair Manning, about how if they were gonna use school property, that there had to be at least something written in whether there was gonna be some type of monetary compensation or some other type of compensation. So I
Definitely.
believe that we changed that into where,
Well, they
Yeah,
they should
because it
have
was-
insurance.
yeah, initially.
Well, I do remember the conversation we had about Brothers Park and, trying to use that facility, which is technically a public park, right?
But it comes with stipulations.
Right.
So it's
So-
not through the city.
So, yeah, as we learned, it came with stipulations. And so, I think to protect ourselves, we should probably look into that, making sure that we're protected as well. If people are using our facilities, we're happy that we do have a process for allowing people to use
Correct.
public facilities, but we just need to know about it.
Agreed. And you know what? That's just a big shout out to maintenance and Bernie for having beautiful lawns that people want to be out there. Okay, that was. Yeah, I'll follow up, but we'll try to keep you updated on requests and
Okay,
see what we can do. And
so did we need to do an action on this
No.
one or just?
Okay,
kind of
well, if
information
you're,
only?
I'm sorry, if you're, I guess, yes,
I mean-
to approve, these requests,
Request.
I think they want to go forward. I think they're
Mhm.
good requests, but it does,
Okay,
just, I think it would be nice if you gave your approval of it.
okay,
And if you don't want to, then you need to.
okay. So I'd like to ask for a motion to approve the requests that have been made from the different programs and, to use our facilities.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the use for the middle school virtual concerts in the 21st Century Family Night.
After school, 4-H and Eat Smart, I don't know. Okay. Okay.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further comments or discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Okay, motion carries unanimously. All right, any future agenda items, trustees, anything that you'd like to see on the agenda? Good. And like we said before, if there's something that you'd like to have added to the agenda, just, we can just speak with Dr. French and I. And then just let us know, we can, in a timely fashion, so we can get it on the agenda and be able to discuss any items that you would like to. Okay, and so now we're going to our information only. So just so everybody knows, April 28th, 2021, so that would be in 2 days. Wednesday, the Psi Omega chapter of the National Honor Society induction ceremony will happen. And if you do plan to attend, please be at the Caldwell High School Auditorium by 5:15 in your seats. Masking and physical distancing will be expected. And I know that this is the 100th anniversary of the National Honor Society. And we will be joining a virtual ceremony with thousands of other chapters across the country. So it will start, I know the Eastern start time will be 7:30. That's why they want us there by 5:15, which would be 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. So Eastern start time. So do you need a count on who is going to be there, Keely?
It's posted as a quorum,
Okay,
just so. Doesn't
All right.
matter, you know. It's like-
and yes, okay. So if you were part of the National Honor Society, you better wear your pin.
Still have it. Oh, actually, I do.
You'd find
I
it.
do.
I don't know if it's all rusted over, but you wear your pin.
Can I borrow somebody's?
Call my brother and see if he's.
Dr. McDaniel? We have an area that we're gonna sit in, or is it just wherever?
I
one
think
place?
that they'll,
You have an area.
Okay.
Wear your pin or, I think they give us cords too. So if you have cords, bring your cords. Okay, all right. Okay, moving on. Let's see, May 6th, 2021 is the Spring Leadership Institute at West Ada School District. And that's a sawtooth boardroom from 1 to 4. And I know that Keely's posted the quorum for that as well. Or have you?
I will be.
Oh, you will be, she will be posting it. So, and then if, I know that Dr. French had mentioned it, but if that works, maybe we could get the field trip to Tuna.
Yes,
Yeah, so.
in the morning.
In the morning.
And that way it's just kind of a day or.
Okay, if that works out, okay. And then May 21st, 2021 is the Canyon Springs High School cap and gown distribution at Canyon Springs High School in front of the school, and it will be parade style. I participated in that last year, and just so you know, the Canyon Springs school colors are purple and orange. So don't be wearing your blue and gold there, if you're gonna be there, wear the right colors, because that's what I did anyways.
You
So-
were purple and orange.
No, I had blue and gold, and then I thought, what? Ah! And it was, yeah, and I felt bad. I
Awkward
should have
moment.
known, awkward moment, yes, so. Anyways, and it's always a fun time there. And then May 24th will be the Canyon Springs High School graduation at 6 PM at the Caldwell High School Auditorium. So that's in the evening, so that'll be great. And then we discussed May 26th, that Wednesday, 2021 will be the Caldwell High School graduation at 2:30 PM at the Ford Idaho Center. So will we be getting parking?
Yes. I'm
the
sure
parking
that-
tickets and stuff like that, okay, for that, so.
And Keely will get you a boot here and a corsage.
Okay, so where do we meet, Dr. French? Would you like us to meet there or
Why
do you
don't
want
we,
us to meet
why don't we discuss that?
later?
Yeah,
Okay,
we'll get
all
it
right,
figured out.
all right, sounds
I'll
good.
let everybody know.
Okay, all right, and those are all our information of things happening in the near future. And so now at this time, we're going to go into executive session. And let's see, I need a motion to enter into executive session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to enter into executive session as per Idaho Code 74-2061 to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, individual agent, or public school student.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion. I'd like to ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you please do the roll call to enter executive session?
Trustee Andrew Butler,
Yes.
trustee Manuel Godina,
Yes.
vice chairman Travis Manning,
Yes.
Madam Chair Maricela Cristina,
Yes. Okay,